She found out the truth the night before her wedding, right there in his penthouse hallway, where the city lights glowed like 1,000 witnesses. Her billionaire fiancé thought he could dump her quietly, pretend he still loved her, and end their story without consequence. What he didn't know was that she had already seen it coming, and she was 5 steps ahead. Before we dive in, welcome to the channel, family. Tell me, where in the world are you watching from tonight? Drop your location in the comments, and hit that like button so more people can join this emotional journey with us. Now let's begin. The night air in Rosebridge City had sharpness to it, a kind of shimmering cold that clung to luxury like perfume. Up on the 40th floor of the Vantral Tower, the ballroom hummed with preparations. Florists moved around like anxious bees, setting up arrangements worth more than most people's annual salary. Assistants hurried up and down the golden hallway, carrying schedules, fabric samples, and trays of imported desserts. Everything was supposed to be perfect. The perfect venue, the perfect wedding, the perfect image, and, at the center of it all, the perfect groom. Conrad Vantral, billionaire CEO of Vantral Innovations, known for his immaculate suits, his impossible calm, and the way his eyes could make boardrooms tremble. Tonight, though, he wasn't thinking about the wedding decor or the corporate guests who expected a flawless union. His jaw was tight, his fists were tense, and every time someone said the word tomorrow, a shadow crossed his expression as if tomorrow wasn't something he wanted at all. He stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse suite, staring at the city as if trying to find a reason, any reason, to go through with the wedding. His assistant paused near the door. "Sir, they want your final approval on the lighting sequence." Conrad didn't answer. He pressed a hand to the glass, his reflection staring back at him, composed, powerful, emotionless. But the truth beneath that surface was beginning to leak out in small cracks. "Sir," his assistant tried again. "Should I tell them you approve?" Conrad inhaled. "Tell them. I'll get back to them." The assistant blinked. That wasn't normal. Conrad always knew exactly what he wanted. But tonight, he looked like a man standing on the edge of a decision he wished he didn't have to make. When the assistant left, Conrad whispered under his breath, "I should have called off weeks ago." He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. What am I even doing? His mind flashed with images. His mother's disapproving stare, his father's cold expectations, the board members whispering about appearances, investors asking if marrying someone like her was wise. He hated those conversations. He hated that they existed. And yet, he hadn't defended her. Not the way she deserved. The way she always defended him. He closed his eyes, leaning his head back. "I'm sorry," he whispered to no one. "I should have been honest sooner." Across the city, in a warm apartment filled with soft lighting and the scent of lavender tea, the bride sat at her small dining table, carefully tying satin ribbons around her bridesmaids' gifts. Her name was Ariel Grant, a kindergarten art teacher with bright eyes, deep skin that caught light like polished bronze, and a quiet intelligence people often underestimated. She wasn't wealthy. She wasn't from a powerful family. But she carried herself with a grace Conrad always said calmed him. Tonight, though, calm felt far away. A knot had been forming in her chest for weeks, tightening every time Conrad pulled away slightly, then slightly more, until their conversations were made of pauses instead of laughter. She took another ribbon, smoothed it, and tied it gently. Her fingers were steady, but her breathing wasn't. Her best friend, Nia, watched her from the couch. "You're tying that ribbon like it owes you money." Ariel forced a small smile. "Just focused." "Focused." Nia raised an eyebrow. "Girl, you've been checking your phone every 5 minutes like you're scared it's going to explode." Ariel looked down at her phone again. "He's busy. It's the night before the wedding. He has a million things to do." Nia folded her arms. "And yet he hasn't called. At all." Ariel swallowed. "He will." "You sure?" Nia leaned forward. "Because something feels off, and you know it." Ariel looked away, her throat tightening. She had felt it. The distance. The shift. The look in his eyes that said he was wrestling with something heavy. And the whisper she overheard. Conrad arguing on the phone with his mother. Sharp words like image, expectations, reputation, and worst of all, "I don't know if this is right." He didn't know she heard that. He didn't know she'd walked into the hallway, just in time to catch the sound of his regret. She had walked away quietly, her chest hollowing out. But she didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, she paid attention. She watched him withdraw piece by piece. She noticed when he canceled their tasting appointment. When he skipped their dance rehearsal. When he ended calls faster than usual. She noticed everything. And rather than drown in fear, she prepared herself. Emotionally. Legally. Strategically. If he tried to humiliate her by calling off their wedding at the last minute, he would not succeed. He would not break her. Because Ariel had learned long ago, if someone shows you who they are, you pay attention the first time. Now, as she tied the last ribbon, her phone buzzed. Her heart jumped. She snatched it up. It was a text. Not from Conrad. From his assistant. Ariel, Conrad asked if he could come to the penthouse. He wants to speak with you tonight. Nia's eyes widened. Oh hell no. Tonight. Ariel's breath trembled. Yes. You're not going alone. I have to. Ariel stood slowly. Her pulse thudded in her ears like a warning drum. He's going to do it. Nia touched her arm. And you're just going to walk into that. Ariel looked into her friend's eyes. Calm. Resolute. Unshaken. He thinks he's about to blindside me, she whispered. But I'm ready. At the penthouse, Conrad's pulse spiked when his assistant notified him she was on her way. She's coming up the private elevator now, sir. He nearly dropped the glass in his hand. Now. Yes, sir. He wiped his palms on his suit pants. His throat tightened. He wasn't ready. He wanted more time. He wanted less time. He wanted to run and stay and disappear all at once. He whispered to himself. How do I tell her? He didn't get to finish the question. The elevator chimed, and the doors slid open. Ariel stepped out, her dark curls pulled back elegantly, her warm brown eyes scanning the hallway with quiet strength. She looked beautiful, but she also looked prepared. Not excited, not confused. Prepared. That scared him more than anything. Ariel, he breathed. She stopped a few steps away. You wanted to see me? Her voice was even, controlled, but he could hear the faint shake beneath it. Conrad opened his mouth. Nothing came out. She waited. The silence stretched like a tight wire. He finally managed. We need to talk. About the wedding. Her heart clenched, but she didn't flinch. Yes, she said softly. We do. He blinked. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't begging. She wasn't even surprised. Something in her calmness unsettled him deeply. Ariel, he stepped closer. I don't think we should. Her phone rang. Loud. Sharp. Cutting. They both stared at it. She slowly answered. Hello. A voice on the other end said, loud enough for Conrad to hear. Ms. Grant, the documents you requested have been finalized. We can proceed whenever you're ready. Conrad froze. Documents? Proceed? Ariel's expression didn't change. Thank you. I'll confirm the time shortly. She hung up. Conrad's heartbeat slammed at his chest. What was that? She looked at him. Steady, calm, devastating. You're not the only one who made preparations, Conrad. The silence thickened around them the moment Ariel put her phone away. The city lights behind Conrad flickered across his face, highlighting the stunned confusion, tightening his jaw. No one ever caught him off guard. No one ever outmaneuvered him. Until now. He stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. Not the gentle kindergarten teacher who painted murals for her students. Not the quiet woman who listened to him breathe when his world collapsed at night. But a woman who had walked into his penthouse with the calm of someone who held every card he thought he had hidden. What documents? He finally asked, voice low. Ariel didn't move. The kind you need when you sense the person you're about to marry is preparing to walk away without the courage to say it to your face. He flinched. Ariel. She held up a hand. Don't. Let's not start with excuses. Say what you were going to say. Finish the sentence. Conrad's throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. He dragged a shaky breath and whispered, I don't think we should get married tomorrow. There it was. The sentence she had known was coming. The sentence she had braced herself for, analyzed, prepared for, rehearsed her reply to. Still, hearing it aloud felt like a blade pressed against the softest part of her. But she didn't let it break her. She blinked slowly, letting the words settle. Thank you, she said quietly. Conrad's head jerked up. Thank you, yes. Her voice was gentler than he expected. For finally saying it. I'm not trying to hurt you. He rushed out. Things move fast, and the pressure. Conrad. She cut him off again, calmly. Tell me the real reason. His eyes darted away. That was her answer. She stepped closer, not enough to touch him, but enough to feel the tension radiating off him. Is it your family? The board? Someone told you marrying me would make you look weak. Ariel, no. Or, she whispered, is it because I don't look like the woman your world expects to see standing next to you? His breath hitched. She saw it. The flicker in his eyes. The hesitation. The shame. He didn't respond. That was worse than answering. Ariel inhaled slowly, grounding herself. I'm not angry that you had doubts, she said, voice steady. I'm angry that you weren't honest. I'm angry that you were going to let me walk into a wedding full of people who already think I don't belong in your world, just so you could humiliate me at the last minute. Conrad stepped forward, panic tightening his voice. I wasn't going to humiliate you by calling off the wedding the night before. Her eyes glistened, not with heartbreak, but with power. Conrad, that is humiliation. He shook his head, running a hand through his hair. You don't understand the pressure I've been under. Oh, I understand perfectly, she said. Your mother told you not to throw away your legacy by marrying me. Your father asked if I was proper CEO wife material. Your board members whispered about optics. Investors raised eyebrows about their golden boy marrying a woman without wealth, without pedigree, and yes, without their skin tone. Ariel, Conrad whispered, pain stripping his voice raw. I tried to shut all of that out. You didn't shut them out. She stepped backward, voice soft, but razor sharp. You let their voices replace your own. He froze, because she was right. Deep down, he knew it. Ariel took a breath, trying to steady the trembling in her chest. I spent weeks wondering what I did wrong, wondering why you were retreating, wondering why the man I love was becoming a stranger. Conrad's face twisted. You didn't do anything wrong. I know. She nodded. But you weren't honest enough to tell me that. He looked away, jaw clenched so tightly it trembled. She continued. The documents you heard about, they're protection. For me. Not revenge. Not punishment. Just protection. What kind of protection? He asked quietly. An agreement, she said. A dissolution of wedding contracts, cancellation clauses, reimbursement for my family's travel expenses, legal confirmations that I wasn't the one who called off the wedding, so I don't walk away as the villain of your world. Conrad blinked, stunned. You planned all that. She nodded once. Weeks ago. How long have you known, he whispered, that you were going to back out? She held his gaze. Since the night, I overheard you on the phone with your mother. He staggered slightly, gripping the back of a chair. You heard that. Every word. She swallowed hard, especially the part where you said, I don't know if this is right. Conrad's eyes burned with regret. Ariel, I was overwhelmed. I didn't even know what I meant when I said that. And yet you didn't reassure me, she said softly. You didn't fight for me. You didn't even try. No, his voice cracked. I didn't. She looked at him for a long moment. Really looked at him. The billionaire who seemed so unstoppable, standing there like a lost boy who didn't know how to hold the love he'd been given. Finally, she said, I won't beg someone to choose me, Conrad. Not even you. His eyes filled with panic. Ariel, please. Don't talk like this. This isn't what I wanted. Then what did you want? She asked quietly. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Because he didn't know. And that was the whole problem. Ariel exhaled shakily. I didn't come here to argue. I just came to hear the truth. And now I have it. She turned slightly, as if preparing to leave. Something inside Conrad snapped. He reached forward and grabbed her wrist, gentle, desperate, terrified. Don't go. Please. We need to talk about this. We need to. Talk about what, Conrad? She asked softly, turning back to him. The fact that you made your decision before you even spoke to me? Or the fact that you were going to let me show up tomorrow with my heart on display while you planned to tear it apart? He shook his head violently. I wasn't trying to tear anything apart. I was trying to, God, I don't even know, protect the company, my image, my family's approval. Exactly. She looked at him with a mixture of love and sorrow. Everything but me. He let go of her wrist slowly, fingers trembling. Ariel stepped back, steadying herself. I loved you, she whispered. His breath hitched. Love. You love me. She didn't correct him, but her silence said everything. But you're still walking away? He asked, voice splintering. No, she said softly. I'm just no longer chasing someone who doesn't know if he wants to stay. He stared at her, stunned. I never wanted to lose you. But you didn't fight to keep me either. The weight of her words hit him like a blow to the chest. Ariel lifted her chin. I deserve a partner who is sure about me. Sure about us. Sure about what we're building together. She swallowed. I deserve to feel chosen, not tolerated. Conrad's shoulders slumped as the truth broke through him, raw and undeniable. I didn't mean to push you away, he whispered. But you did, she said softly, piece by piece. And I kept hoping you'd pull me back. He closed his eyes, breath trembling. Ariel reached in her purse and pulled out a small envelope. She held it out silently. He stared at it. What is that? My parting gift, she said. Read it after I leave. He didn't take it. He just stared at her, eyes glistening. Are you really walking out? Yes, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Because you already did. Those words shattered him. He stepped forward suddenly, voice rising. Ariel, wait. Please just wait. Don't leave like this. I can fix this, I swear. No, she gently stepped back. Tonight, I choose myself. Conrad shook his head, tears slipping down his face. The man who never cracked, never cried, never faltered, breaking right in front of her. Ariel, please. I'm begging you. Don't go. Don't leave me. Her heart squeezed painfully. She dreamed of hearing those words once. But not like this. Not as a reaction to losing control. Not as a last-minute scramble. Not as a man trying to stop consequences. Instead of choosing her willingly. She whispered, "Good night, Conrad." Then she turned, walked to the elevator, pressed a button, and didn't look back. The doors slid closed between them. Conrad dropped to his knees, breath shaking like his world had collapsed. Ariel leaned her head against the elevator wall as it descended, tears spilling silently down her cheeks, tears not of weakness, but of release. When the elevator reached the lobby and the doors opened, she wiped her cheeks, squared her shoulders, and walked out into the cool night air. She didn't know what tomorrow would look like, but she knew one thing for certain. She was done letting anyone, man, family, billionaire or not, decide her worth for her. The hours after Ariel walked out felt like days pressed into Conrad's chest. He didn't move at first. Couldn't. The penthouse around him was too quiet, too polished, too cold. Like a museum built to display what his life was supposed to look like. Not what it was. He stayed on his knees far longer than pride allowed. When he finally stood, he gripped the back of the couch, his knuckles white. What did I do? He whispered to himself. His voice echoed in the empty room, small and broken. He wasn't used to panic. He wasn't used to losing control. But tonight, the panic crawled under his skin like fire. He paced the living room, running a shaking hand through his hair. I didn't mean to lose her, he whispered. I didn't mean for any of this. He looked at the envelope Ariel left on the coffee table. He didn't touch it. Not yet. He didn't feel ready for whatever truth she had left him. Instead, he went to the window and stared out at the city, a glittering world he had mastered, a world where everything bent to his will. Except her. She was the one thing he never wanted to control, the one thing he didn't know how to fight for, the one person he should have chosen openly, loudly, defiantly. He whispered her name, Ariel. His phone buzzed. His mother's name lit up the screen. He stared at it, jaw tightening. He didn't answer. It buzzed again, and again. Then his father. Then one of the board members. Then his mother again. He grabbed the phone and slammed it face down on the table, chest heaving. He was done letting everyone's voices drown out his own. But it was too late. Ariel was gone, and he didn't know how to get her back. Across the city, Ariel sat on the edge of her bed, still fully dressed, staring at the floor. The apartment was silent around her, except for her heartbeat, which felt too loud, too heavy, too full. Nia paced the room like a storm. Say the word, she muttered, and I'll go up to that penthouse and rearrange his soul. Ariel closed her eyes. Nia, don't. I'm serious. Nia pointed sharply at the floor. The nerve of that man. The disrespect. The last-minute nonsense. He should thank every ancestor you have that you didn't throw his whole bloodline off that balcony. Despite herself, Ariel let out a small, broken laugh. I didn't want to hurt him. Well, he hurt you. Nia shot back. All quiet and soft-spoken like betrayal doesn't sting you the same way it stings everybody else. Ariel looked down at her hands. They were still trembling. I didn't even cry until I got in the elevator. That's improvement. Nia crossed her arms. Last breakup, you were crying before you finished reading the text. That was college. Still counts. Ariel shook her head gently. This is different. Nia softened. She sat beside her. You loved him. Ariel nodded, voice barely a whisper. I did. You still do. She swallowed. I don't know. Nia took her hand, squeezing it. You don't have to know tonight. Ariel leaned her head on her friend's shoulder, letting herself breathe. For a moment, she allowed one single tear to fall. Just one. Back at the penthouse, Conrad finally picked up the envelope with shaking fingers. He sat on the couch, exhaling slowly. Okay, he whispered to himself. Just open it. He tore the seal. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Her handwriting, soft, looping, calm, filled the top half of the page. Conrad, I'm not leaving because I stopped loving you. I'm leaving because you stopped choosing me. I hope one day you learn the difference between pressure and truth. I hope one day you speak with your own voice instead of everyone else's. And I hope when you finally understand what love really means, you don't learn too late. Hey, he held the note against his chest, squeezing his eyes shut as the words sliced through him. Not too late, he whispered. Please, not too late. He grabbed his phone instinctively and called her. Once, twice, 5 times. Straight to voicemail, every time. He rubbed his forehead hard. She blocked me. His voice cracked. He slammed the phone down onto the couch and stood abruptly, grabbing his keys. He had to see her. He had to fix this. He had to at least try. Ariel was still sitting on the bed when Nia glanced toward the hallway. You hear that? Ariel sat up. Hear what? A knock. Firm. Heavy. Urgent. Nia's eyes widened. Tell me that's not. Ariel stood slowly. The knock came again. Ariel. A voice called from the other side. Please. Open the door. Nia's mouth fell open. Oh, absolutely not. She stomped toward the door. Ariel grabbed her arm. Nia, wait. Why? So he can hurt you again? Ah. Let me handle this 6-foot stress migraine. Ariel shook her head softly. Just let me talk to him. Nia looked at her long and hard, then sighed dramatically. Fine. But if he cries, I'm filming it. Ariel took a steadying breath and walked to the door. Her heart was pounding. She unlocked it and opened it. Conrad stood there, hair disheveled, eyes red, tie gone, suit rumpled. He looked like someone who had run through a storm only to find out the rain was inside him the whole time. Ariel, he breathed, voice breaking. Please, can we talk? Nia peeked from behind Ariel and glared at him like a bouncer at a club he would never get into. He swallowed hard. Ariel stepped outside and gently closed the door behind her, so Nia couldn't jump into the scene with a frying pan. She stood in the hallway with her arms folded. You shouldn't be here. I know, he said, voice trembling. But I had to come. I can't let the last thing you remember of me be the man who broke you. You didn't break me, she said softly. Just disappointed me. He flinched. That might be worse. Ariel stayed quiet. Conrad ran a hand through his hair. I made a mistake. You made many, she corrected gently. Yes. He nodded quickly, desperately. Yes, I know. I know I did. And I should have been honest. I should have been stronger. I should have protected us instead of letting other people's voices drown you out. You let them drown you out too, she said. He exhaled shakily. I know. Ariel looked at him carefully. Why are you here, Conrad? He looked in her eyes, really looked, and whispered, because losing you hurts more than disappointing every person in my life who told me not to love you. Her breath caught. He stepped closer. Because I'm in love with you. And I was stupid enough to think fear was a good enough reason to throw that away. She didn't answer. He swallowed hard. I can't take back what I said. I can't undo what I almost did. But I'm here because you deserve to hear the truth from me. Not rumors. Not guesses. Not the pieces I let fall through the cracks. She looked down at her hands. They were shaking again. She clasped them together. He continued, I didn't doubt you. I doubted myself. I doubted whether I could be the kind of man you deserved. And instead of being honest, I let everything else control me. She looked up at him, eyes pained. Why didn't you tell me that? Because I didn't want you to see how scared I was, he whispered. I didn't want you to see me weak. Being honest isn't weakness. I know, he said softly. Now I know. Ariel took a breath. So what do you want from me? He hesitated, just for a heartbeat, then answered, voice quiet but strong. A chance. One chance to show you that I meant every promise I made before fear taught me how to lie. Ariel's eyes softened, but only slightly. Conrad, she whispered. Tomorrow is supposed to be our wedding day. His breath stuttered. I know. And instead we're standing in a hallway at midnight trying to figure out if we even belong in the same sentence anymore. He nodded. I know. Ariel's voice cracked. You didn't just hurt me. You made me question myself. My worth. My place in your life. You made me feel like I was something you had to justify. His face fell completely. I'm so sorry. She looked into his eyes. Sorry doesn't fix trust. He inhaled deeply, chest rising. Then let me earn it. Ow. He didn't look away. By starting over. On your terms. Not my family's. Not the board's. Not the company's. Yours. She stared at him for a long, breathless moment. Show me, she said softly. Don't tell me. Conrad nodded slowly, eyes glistening. I will. But the tension didn't fade. Not yet. Because love wasn't a switch. And broken trust wasn't repaired in one hallway conversation. Ariel stepped back. Tonight, I still need space. He nodded, swallowing hard. Okay. And tomorrow, I'm not going to the venue. He exhaled shakily. Okay. But if you really mean what you said, she looked at him carefully, then you'll show me tomorrow that you're choosing me. Not your fear. He nodded firmly, voice steady for the first time all night. I will. Ariel turned, slowly, almost painfully, and reached for the door. Conrad whispered behind her. Ariel. She paused. He whispered, voice trembling, I love you. Her chest tightened, but she didn't turn around. I know, she whispered. Good night, Conrad. She slipped inside and closed the door gently behind her. Conrad stayed frozen in the hallway for a long time before he finally walked away, pulling in a shaky breath. A man who had made a vow to himself that tomorrow he would fight for her. Morning came too early. Ariel hadn't slept more than an hour. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the city outside her window. This should have been her wedding morning. She should have been surrounded by friends, stylists, flowers, joy. Instead, she felt suspended between heartbreak and hope, unsure which one would hit the ground first. Her phone buzzed. Nia knocked and cracked open the bedroom door. It's him, she said with a sigh, holding the phone out. Ariel rolled onto her side, facing away. I told him I needed space. You did. Nia lifted a brow. You didn't tell him to stop trying. Ariel pulled the covers to her chin. Is he calling? No. He's texting. And it's long. Very long. And surprisingly not stupid. She paused. Want me to read it? Ariel hesitated. No. Just put on the dresser. Nia placed the phone down, but lingered. You okay? I don't know yet. Well, get up, Nia said softly. Even heartbreak needs breakfast. Ariel let out a tiny laugh. Breakfast isn't going to fix anything. No, but it'll stop you from fainting when life decides to get dramatic again. Across the city, Conrad was standing in the lobby of the Harper Foundation building, his building, but today he wasn't here as a CEO. He was here with a plan. He had written and rewritten the text to her 10 times, deleting each version until the words finally matched his heart. He didn't expect her to reply, but he hoped. He checked the time on his watch. Volunteers and donors were arriving soon. Today was the final prep day for the charity gala, a massive event jointly run by the Harper Foundation and a community center Ariel had worked with for years. It was the only major commitment Ariel couldn't step away from, wedding or not. It meant too much to her, and that's why Conrad was here. Because if she believed in something, then today he would too. He walked to the volunteer registration area and signed his name on the sheet. The coordinator stared at him like she had seen a ghost. Mr. Harper, she whispered. Yes, he said simply. You want to volunteer? Yes. She blinked several times. For physical labor? Like lifting, sweeping, setting up chairs. Yes, he repeated, trying not to smile. Is that a problem? No. No, sir. Absolutely not. As he walked toward the event hall, he whispered under his breath. This is for you, Ariel. Every part of it. Ariel arrived at the community center early, wanting to avoid crowds, cameras, and questions. She tied her hair up into a bun, put on a plain black t-shirt, and carried a box of donation materials toward the main hall. She wasn't ready for the stares. People knew what today was supposed to be. Someone whispered, "Isn't this her wedding day?" Another murmured, "Poor thing." She ignored them all, keeping her eyes forward, her focus steady. Work helped. Work made her feel grounded. She stepped through the double doors into the large event hall and froze. Conrad was there, sweeping the floor, in jeans, in a t-shirt, and, God help her, sweating. He didn't see her at first. He was pushing a broom in slow, careful strokes, looking painfully out of place but determined. His hair was slightly messy from exertion. His expression was focused. He looked human. He looked real. He looked like a man trying. A volunteer nudged her. "Is that the billionaire with the broom?" Ariel swallowed. "Yes." "Oh." They blinked. "Is he okay?" "I honestly don't know." At that moment, Conrad looked up and saw her. He froze. The broom slipped from his hands and clattered against the floor. He whispered her name. "Ariel." She didn't move. "Why are you here?" she asked quietly. He stepped toward her, slow and cautious, like approaching a wounded animal. "Because you're here." "That's not a reason," she said softly. "It's the only reason," he replied. Ariel's breath hitched. She turned and walked toward the donation table, forcing herself to focus on anything but him. She felt him watching her, not in that possessive way he used to, but with a quiet ache she wasn't sure how to handle. His voice came behind her, gentle. "Do you need help with that?" "No," she said without looking at him. He stepped closer anyway, but kept a respectful distance. "Ariel." She set the box down harder than intended. "Conrad, I told you I needed space. I gave you the night," he said softly. "But today, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just here to work, to stand beside you. Not behind you, not in front of you, just beside you." Her chest tightened. "Please," he whispered, "let me do this." She didn't answer, but she didn't ask him to leave. Throughout the morning, Conrad worked like a man possessed. He carried tables, stacked chairs, loaded boxes, and followed every instruction given, no matter how small or mundane. People stared. Some whispered. Some took photos. He ignored them all. His eyes stayed on the tasks, and sometimes on her. Ariel tried to keep her distance, but forced proximity has a way of closing gaps life refuses to keep open. At one point, 2 volunteers struggled with a heavy speaker. Ariel rushed forward to help. Conrad was already there, lifting the other side effortlessly. Their hands brushed. She pulled away like the touch burned. He exhaled softly. "Sorry." She didn't respond. Later, she climbed a ladder to adjust a banner. Conrad stood below her without being asked, holding it steady. "You don't have to stand there," she said from the top. "I know," he replied, "but I'm not leaving you unsupported again." She looked down at him slowly. This time, she didn't look away. By midday, they finally crossed paths too directly to ignore. Ariel was kneeling on the floor, organizing donated gift bags. Conrad approached with 2 boxes. "Where should these go?" he asked. "Over there," she said without looking up. He set the boxes down. "Ariel, can we talk for a minute?" "We're talking," she murmured. "No," he said quietly. "We're avoiding." She stopped, exhaling through her nose. He crouched down beside her, far enough not to touch her, close enough that she could feel the warmth of him. "Ariel," he said softly, "I meant every word last night." She stared at the ribbon in her hands. "Words are easy." He nodded. "I know." She finally looked at him. "You know what day this is?" He winced. "Yes." "And you know what you almost made me feel today?" He swallowed hard. "Yes." "So why are you here?" He met her eyes, steady, vulnerable. "Because I realized something this morning." She waited. Conrad took a breath. "I was scared last night, but I'm more scared of today." His voice trembled. "More scared of what it means to wake up without you. More scared of watching you walk through life thinking you weren't enough for me. When the truth is, you were the only part of my life that made me feel like I was enough." Her lips parted. Conrad continued, voice low. "I'm not asking you to marry me today. I'm not asking for forgiveness today." He paused. "I'm only asking for the chance to spend today, proving that I choose you." She stared at him, heart pounding. Silence stretched for several seconds. Soft, heavy silence thick with unsaid things. Finally, she whispered, "Hand me that ribbon." He blinked. "The ribbon?" "Yes," she said softly. He passed it to her. She didn't smile. But she didn't push him away. For him, that was enough. For now. Around 2 p.m., one of the caterers realized the delivery truck hadn't arrived. The gala was in less than 24 hours. Panic spread through the room like wildfire. The coordinator ran over. "We need someone to pick up the order from Westport Market. It's a 40-minute drive, and they're closing early today." Ariel sighed, wiping her forehead. "I'll go. I'll drive," Conrad cut in. Ariel looked up sharply. "No, you stay. You've done enough." "I haven't," he said gently. "And you need to be here. They need you." She hesitated. He stepped closer. "Please, let me handle this." Eventually, she nodded, and that small nod felt like the first crack in the wall she had built. The drive took longer than expected. Traffic was brutal, and rain started falling hard against the windshield. Conrad checked the time. He needed to hurry. As he reached the market and loaded the car with the catering boxes, his phone buzzed. A video call request from Ariel. His heart jumped. He answered immediately. Her face appeared on the screen, a little blurry from the low signal, but still beautiful. "Hey," she said. His breath hitched. "Hi. Everything okay?" "Yes," he said, lifting the boxes. "Just heading back." "Good." She seemed tense, then added, "I just wanted to check." He swallowed. "Thank you." She nodded. "Drive safe, Conrad." Something in her tone, gentle, careful, made his chest tighten. "I will," he whispered. The call ended. But fate doesn't respect timing. On the drive back, the rain intensified. The roads flooded. Visibility dropped. Traffic slowed to a crawl. Conrad gripped the steering wheel tightly. "Come on," he muttered. "Come on." He didn't want to be late. Not today. Not when he had promised her he would show up. He pressed the gas slightly. A car hydroplaned in front of him, slamming into a divider. Conrad swerved hard to avoid it. The tire skidded. The car spun once, twice, water spraying everywhere. He slammed the brakes. The car crashed into a shallow ditch. The impact wasn't catastrophic, but it was enough to leave him breathless, stunned, and trapped in the rain with a trunk full of catering boxes. Back at the community center, the coordinator rushed to Ariel. "We can't reach the driver. Or Mr. Harper." Ariel froze. "What?" "He left over an hour ago." Ariel's heart dropped. She grabbed her phone and dialed Conrad's number. No answer. She tried again. Still no answer. Nia walked over, noticing her pale face. "What's wrong?" "He should have been back," Ariel whispered. Nia frowned. "Okay, breathe. Maybe traffic." Ariel grabbed her keys. "I'm gonna look for him." Nia blinked. "Wait, what?" "He's out there alone," she said, voice trembling. "In this rain. And he's not answering." Nia's brows lifted slowly. "Girl, you still love him." Ariel didn't answer. But she didn't have to, because her fear gave her away. She ran toward the exit, pushing the doors open into the storm. "Conrad," she whispered into the wind. "Please be okay."